Well, former Waterford captain Stephen Malumphey and Stephen Frampton have been added to Liam Cahill's backroom team as selectors for 2020. Malumphey skippered the Dacia to Munster glory in 2010 and was part of Davy Fitzgerald's setup in Wexford last season. Frampton captained Waterford in 1998 and was a member of the 5-man selection committee that recommended Cahill to the county board. Well, last week, All-Ireland winning manager with Tipperary, Liam Sheedy, was a special guest at the Bank of Ireland business breakfast in Waterford. I got his thoughts on the new Dacia appointment, but firstly he spoke about the thrill of winning his second All-Ireland with the Premier County.
Well, look, I mean, All-Ireland final day is a special day, Waterford would have been there themselves just a few years back, and we're very, very close, so I think, I suppose I know how hard it is to get there, and it's really hard to win one as well because it's a hugely competitive arena. But as I said, guys that you've worked with for 10 or 11 months work gone in by both teams. So to know that you've got there, I suppose you've played 8 matches to get there as well. So it's a long road. So to know that when the road's ending, you have the cup and the bus is very, very. I suppose it's special. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you miss that buzz, Liam, in the 9 years you're away from the inter-county scene?
Look, I did, but I had a great 3 years while I was there. 3 years is a long time to commit to any team or any project, especially when it's not your full-time job. There's loads of other things going on in my life, so it was great. That I would say 2008, 2010 was wonderful for me. But look, I suppose I'm now working in Munster again. I had a chance of going back in this time, and I suppose I took it. And maybe if you could question my madness and my mental systems as to why I would go back. But I went back because I suppose I knew I could really enjoy it and give the lads everything I could, and thankfully it worked out.
How do the time and the demands from, we'll say, when you won in 2010, Liam, to when you won it this year in 2019?
Look, the training nights haven't changed much. It's just that there's so much going on now. You're still training more or less the same amount. But when you have a committed group of lads and you've got a backroom team that are operating at the top of their game, that makes all the difference. And I was very, very fortunate. A wonderful team around me, people that are outstanding at what to do. And as I said, a training night does not have a lot of work for me. It's done by all the others around me, and because they're brilliant at what they do. And as I said, you've probably seen that coming through in the way the team played.
How important was that backroom team? Because you had the people of the calibre of Eamon O'Shea, Tommy Dunn, Darragh Egan, who were really managers in their own right, but they had no problem coming in under your setup.
No, but I think, I suppose we've worked up a really good relationship. At the end of the day, we all have one thing in common, which is just Tipperary in us, and I suppose they wanted to do everything they could for the cause, and they certainly did that. And as I said, they all had wonderful roles, and as I said, they're the guys that done all of the work. Ultimately, I just had to make sure that I suppose all the strands were all moving in the right direction. So when you get good people around you and they know what they're at, you just leave them at it, and certainly I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah, it must be pretty challenging at the same time to manage that volume of people. You're talking about panel 35, 36, and as you said, inside a backroom team of 27 as well. It's pretty time consuming, I imagine.
It is, but I mean at the same time, when you've got people that are brilliant at what they do, very, very connected to what the team are trying to achieve, and as I said, just making themselves freely available, whether it's individually or collectively, of what to support the group. It's it's superb to see, and as I said, we're very, very lucky. In Tipperary, that backroom team is, I would consider to be, the best in the country, and ultimately, as I said, they do all of the work, and they're the ones that deserve the bulk of the credit.
Will they all be good to go now for 2020?
Well, that's what I'm working on currently. So that said, I think in fairness to us in the group, we deserve a few weeks just to let the dust settle, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Are you surprised to see a fellow tip man pitch up in Waterford in Liam Cahill?
No, it's a great appointment. Liam is a very, very good guy. He's done wonderful work with Tipperary underage. He's a superb operator. Mikey Beavens is his coach. The brand of hurling they've had those guys playing over the last number of years is to be admired. Their performance in the under-20 final, I thought, was of the highest order. So he's a really good guy. As I said, I had the pleasure of sharing the dressing room with Liam, and he's a great guy.
What type of personality would you describe him as? You're in the dressing room with him and you've dealt with him on 20 manager.
Very, very straight guy, very sound guy, very steeped in hurling, married to Lynn Gaynor's daughter, so look, there's G everywhere you turn with Liam Cahill, and as I said, I've been in I've been in his company socially. We've shared a dressing room together, and obviously we worked very closely together last year, so top class guy.
Do you think it's a brave call from himself to take him out of that Tipperary environment that he's so familiar with?
No, I think Liam is ambitious and he wants to get on, and he's getting a chance to work with a top class inter-county team. So I think it's great for Waterford, and it's also great for Liam.
And you're looking forward to coming to Welsh Park next summer?
Look at that, sure. I'm sure the red carpet will be out here. Yeah, look, isn't that the beauty of the Munster Championship? It's just fantastic. You get two matches at home, 2 matches away, and it'll be, as I said, once we turn the new year again and we start into the league, before you know it, the Munster Championship will be upon us. And look, Walsh Park, Simple Stadium, Páirce Cusack Park, the Gaelic grounds, they're all special places, and they'll be full of excitement and, I suppose, heightened expectation and anticipation in all counties again, because that's the beauty about this Munster Championship. It's so open. I think all the teams are prepared to the highest calibre, so I think we'll get a cracker again in 2020. But for now, I'm going to just bask in the glory of what 29 has been for us, which is a great year.
We love Waterford. We are WLR.